You're listening to the Major Pod Network, the only place where your favorite toy store, card shop, arcade, theme park, and arena are all on the same block. Scratch that major itch.
This is Tony Chimmel, and I'd like to introduce the hosts of the Game Marks podcast, George Feis and Johnny Clash.
Welcome to the Game Marks podcast presented by the Major Pod Network. I'm the man they call Johnny Clash.
And I am Mr. Anything is Feasible, George Feis, and today we are playing WWE Smackdown vs. Raw 2006. How is this game going to hold up? Is it going to play it forever? Woo! Or a future endeavor? We also discuss Gameboree 2022, a new Kojima Production, The Witcher, and a whole lot more in gaming news.
And don't forget to subscribe and leave a 5-star review for this podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Follow us on all forms of social media at GameMarksPod and check out the exclusive we are creating at patreon.com/GameMarksPod. What's up, George? Feels like I haven't seen you in a while, haven't talked to you in a while.
Yeah,
saw you yesterday, talked to you every single day. It's getting a little much. It's getting a little much.
Pretty sure after tonight, John and I are not going to talk for a couple of days. But
We've
then
been busy.
we'll be back here on on Monday or Tuesday next week. Back at it again. Let's talk about the Steel Cages episode, huh? How about that?
I listened back. I enjoyed it. I think we have to do more of these, dive into Hell in a Cell, some TLCs maybe, even during our playthrough earlier of this game, SmackDown vs. Raw 2006. We mentioned maybe some finishers like the RKO or something we'll have to dive into. I think that'll be pretty cool to go through them because like a move like that, it started out as a little cutter and then it really developed into such a cool move to the point where you can now do them as reversals off the top rope or something.
Yeah. I mean, it's a very cool series that we could do. The evolution of finishers. I think you may be onto something there.
Yeah, but besides that, besides us talking every single day here on the Game Marks stuff, besides getting lunch during our work hours, we were on the MWO podcast last week. So check out the Major World Order where we kind of just talked. We're all just friends and we hung out, told them how we came to be as a podcast, as friends, and yeah, it was cool to just interact with them and get their takes on some video games and what they do, and go check it out.
Yeah, it was awesome. Shout out to all the guys over at MWO for having us on, and like John said, make sure to go and check that out and show the boys some support. But John, when we hit 1,000 followers on our Twitter, what are we going to be releasing to the fine people of the podcast world?
The Twitterverse. We'll be getting the video game history of Mick Foley, our favorite episodes to do, and we're going to bring you all the incarnations of the one, the only, Mick Foley. So go hit that follow button. We are so close to being there, and I'm just going to say it right now. I have another action figure giveaway sitting behind me. Ooh. I'm going to throw that up on Twitter next week, and I am going to guarantee that we hit that 1,000.
Damn.
Because it's a good one. It's a good one.
The Johnny Clash guarantee. That's pretty much as good as the Men's Warehouse or the George Foreman guarantee.
Ooh, I prefer the George Foreman. They're good burgers.
All right. Well, it is, as this episode releases, tomorrow is a pretty big day because it is the start of Gameboree 2022. It is the best time of the year. John, let's go through everything that's going on. Last year, we simplified a lot of the stuff. And this year, we're following that same trend. But you know how we do it here. Bigger and better. Let's break everything down.
Let's do it. So obviously, the money is still going to go directly towards St. Jude Children's Research Hospital.
Yes.
we have prizes. If you are the top donor, you are going to win one of these sitting right here, the Game Over light that we have provided by our friends at Zavvi.
You could point and say game over just like John does on the show.
And probably better than I do it. You could win an AEW Fight Forever code for any console of your choice. You can win a Best Batch Promotions autographed 8x10 pack. And now, the Elder Spork, Mr. Betch Batch, sure. Best Batch himself, sorry. Best bitch.
he is the best bitch. It's Best Bitch Promotions because he's our best bitch.
He not only showed me the ones he offered, but I make his 8x10s and I know who's in there and it's going to be pretty incredible. Also, a part of this is going to be courtesy of Best Batch. Super Fire Pro Wrestling 1 and 2 complete in the box that you can have for your collecting needs. You can get them graded. You could look at them. You could, if you have a Super Famicom, you could play them.
Hell yes.
Now, also with the first and second tier donors, you're gonna get the Gameboree T-shirt and an 8x10 and a hat this year.
A hat.
A lot of people have been telling us they want Game Marks hats. Only me and George have them right now. We're opening them to the public. Now, the second place top donor, you're getting the light. You're also gonna get the 8x10, the T-shirt, the hat, but you're also gonna get an AEW unrivaled figure as well. So we got to sweeten the deal. And we couldn't do any of this without our sponsors. That's Retromania Wrestling. That's Secret Levels Podcast, who will also be doing some giveaways. That's Best Batch Promotions. And that's Zavvi. And also be on the lookout for dates coming up soon for Gameboree Super Show and Game Marks Mania.
It is the best time of year. It is literally...
It's the most.
Yeah. So keep going. It's...
Had to take a sip of seltzer.
It is our favorite thing that we do every year. We're finally able to use this this platform as a vehicle for some good, and who better to support than St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital? But I think it's time, John. I think it's time that we put on those nostalgia goggles and go in our Wayback Machine all the way back to 2005, because it's time for the deep dive.
Let's go. Sponsored by Zavvi. Hey, George. You see this light here that says Game Over that I point to at the end of every single episode, like Ronda Rousey pointing to that WrestleMania sign?
I do.
Do you know where I got it?
Why don't you tell me?
I got it from Zavvi. That's us.zavvi.com, Z-A-V-V-I, and they literally have everything. I have spent hours on this website looking up Mandalorian, Jurassic Park, Harry Potter, like everything you could imagine. There's Legos, Power Rangers. You could pre-order the new Marvel Legends. It's an insane website that has literally everything pop culture. There's even Batman shoes on here.
I mean, I know for me, a little like adult Zen garden project that I like to do is like the smaller Lego sets, and Zavvi has a lot of those Lego sets on there and getting kind of itchy. So if you like all things pop culture, like John said, Disney, Star Wars, Marvel, DC, Harry Potter, Nintendo, they're even getting into the wrestling game now.
Oh yeah.
Zavvi is the place for you.
That's right. Use code GameMarks, simply just GameMarks, at checkout, and you can get 10% off.
I'm going to redo my wardrobe. WWE Smackdown vs. Raw 2006, released November 14th, 2005 for the PlayStation 2 and the PSP, published by THQ, developed by Ukes. Some stiff competition here.
Big year,
for,
big year.
Smackdown vs. Raw 2006. You've got WWE Raw for the mobile. You've got WWE Smackdown also for mobile. You've got WrestleMania 21, WWE, Day of Reckoning 2, and arguably some people's number one Fire Pro Wrestling game, Fire Pro Wrestling Returns. A stacked roster of competition here for this game. And obviously, this is the sequel to the very successful SmackDown vs. Raw. This is the second in the series, and let's go, man. Let's really start diving into this.
So let's get controversial right from the start.
Ooh.
To me, SmackDown vs. Raw is the start of a new series.
Yes.
If you say it's part of the SmackDown series, I will smack down you in the face. And it ends at 2011 because 12 and 13 are their own series, and then it starts the 2K series. I will live and die
Is it
on that hill.
It's 11, 12, 13, right?
Nope, 12 and 13. 11 still a SmackDown versus Raw.
Oh, it is?
Yeah,
Shit.
100%.
I thought it was Brock. Oh, no. Brock's on...
Here comes the pain.
No.
Oh, 11 Cena, The Miz, and Big Show.
And then 12 is Orton.
13's
13
Punk.
is Punk. And then it's 2K, right?
Yeah, and 14 was what? The Rock? Yeah, The Rock.
And then what
there.
I'm thinking is 15 is the cover with Brock.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking of. For some reason, I
so-
thought that was just a flat WWE game.
So if you want to argue me on that, listen, I get it. It's the same build. It's the same game. It's a different series.
Yeah, I'm 100%
It's a different
with you on
series.
that one.
Okay?
SmackDown versus Raw.
Now,
New saga.
Now, this is where it differs because in 2006, the main focus is to make it more realistic, make it more authentic to an actual wrestling match. We were saying during our playthrough, we were doing a Hell in a Cell, and in old games, you notice you're facing the ramp mostly, kind of like pandemic times when they would face the ramp to avoid the empty crowd.
Yes.
But now in this game, everything's like a hard cam on TV where it looks like you're watching a wrestling match, and the whole focus is to make it presented like an actual wrestling match rather than like an arcadey video game, which you could arguably say that the SmackDown games are like, which are like the Royal Rumble game for the Dreamcast, which is actually an arcade cabinet. So there you go. Now we added some matches here. You get the Buried Alive and the Fulfill Your Fantasy match, and is the first time ever, this is huge, you're getting General Manager mode, GM mode, which is a lot of people's favorite game mode.
Oh, yeah.
And create an entrance, and we haven't gotten simplistic entrances since, I don't think.
I mean, I think there's still always the option for like the easy.
Yeah, I always choose that.
Yeah, I say there's still the simplistic created entrance mode, but this is where it like really
Hardy's
go.
Edge motion, Hardy's video, now Gargano's music, done. But it's cool. A lot of stuff, a lot of barriers broken here, a lot of things implemented, like the momentum bar and stamina with the clean and dirty SmackDown meters, which is something new where you could now target different types of moves, do some cheap stuff, some eye rakes, put your foot on the ropes, all that.
Yeah.
I will say this is probably my favorite HUD in any game because it's so simple. You know it. It's effective. It's similar to the No Mercy in WrestleMania 2000s, where it's just that pulsing meter of health, whatever you want to call it, with the body meter next to it, and then your stored finisher icon. That's all you need.
And then when you hit the stamina button to regain your stamina, guess what? The I don't know, your special meter goes away and you just see the stamina bar. That's great.
Now, I remember this game and a few others that have the stamina being very annoying because after a few things you do, you have to hold select and go right back up. Now, as a created wrestler, you automatically start with a low stamina attribute anyway, and it's like you do one flying move, you're sitting there huffing and puffing, and it's a little annoying.
Is this the game that has the noise when you run out of stamina where your guy goes like, oh? One of the SmackDown vs. Raw games has that in it where like if you really drain out all your stamina, the wrestler actually makes a noise. And for some reason,
I'm not sure.
It just stuck with me.
I do remember that though. Yeah, I don't know. A lot improved. The crowd improved for, I would say, the first, 3 rows of the game, and then you're getting the pixely.
The crowd improved from what it was. By today's standards, it's nightmare fuel. But from what it was, it's better. The textures
Right.
of the people in the crowd are better, but just
Less papery.
But I mean, the faces are just straight nightmare fuel. It's terrible.
Yeah. Grapples have been improved because now you have actually specialized grapples per person, and there's a lot of them. You really do have, I think it was Here Comes the Pain that started on this build to have different grapples per direction pad. So there's like over 25 different, and it just builds upon that. There's a lot more in here. If you want to talk about what we covered last week, the steel cage match, that was improved because now you can escape through the cage door. Wah, wah, which is no fun. I don't like it. I don't want to do it.
Well, the Hell in the Cell door, though, it's a different mechanic. But the Hell in the Cell door, could you imagine if that's the same mechanic for the cage? You just walk over to it, run, and kick open the door, and like, all right, match is over.
That's it. Done. George, your favorite match was replaced in this game. There is no more bra and panties match. It's now called the Fulfill Your Fantasy match, which is based on a costume diva match from Taboo Tuesday.
When's the last time we played a bra and panties? You did Here Comes the Pain, right?
Was it Here Comes the Pain?
When
I do remember we did
Here
it
Comes the
at,
Pain?
I think we did it at Creator Pro, so it was probably Here Comes the Pain.
Yeah, because I was going to say, I very distinctly remember us sitting with Bronson and being like, what do you want to play? And he just goes, I think it would be funny if you two played a bra and panties match. And I was like, I fucking knew this is going to happen today.
I mean, the Fulfill Your Fantasy match is exactly the same thing, just there's like pillows and stuff you could throw in there.
It's a way of getting that match in there without it having being like very gratuitously called the bra and panties match. That's pretty much like, yes, it's the reference to the Taboo Tuesday match, but it's also like, what are you talking about? There's no bra and panties match on the menu anymore. It's bullshit. It's stupidest match that ever put in a video game. I don't know why it's there.
Heading towards the Cena era. The PG era.
Yeah.
Now, backstage matches are improved. Now you have people walking around. You could interact with the refs or some backstage personnel.
Yep.
Which is, all right, it's cool. Whatever. I want to throw a cup of coffee at him, throw a cup of coffee at him.
It's building on that like environmental reaction that you can have in the backstage fights that you're like so used to with those OMG moments now in the games.
Yeah, that's true. Now, the season mode. I think the season mode, when you look at SmackDown all the way to Here Comes the Pain, it got so good, so well developed from start to finish that once you hit SmackDown versus Raw, it's one of the most iconic ones that there is. And then you get to 2006, which is also absolutely insane. I remember playing it, and they only get better from here. There's some wonky ones. There's like the ECW Invasion one that was a little weird.
They got creative, and that's was part of the fun that and they even still do it today, where like not everything is grounded in reality. You have a little bit of fun, and the voice lines and the scripts for some of these games are very creative and interesting and fun.
Well, that's what I was going to say. This one does have 100 different motion captured cinematic cutscenes, which if you think about it, for that time, it's a lot. Today, it's probably not. There's going to be a ton more. I think if you go to like SmackDown vs. Raw 2009, there's going to be a lot more.
Oh, yeah.
Real-time storytelling, you could kind of choose your path, and of course, voice acting, which features more wrestlers than it did in the past game. Now, I think this is cool, and this is something they implemented and then took away, and I want it back. But you could actually choose a voice for your creator wrestler to have during season mode.
I mean, they had that back in Warzone and Attitude.
You get to the one that had Jacob Cass. I think it was Austin Aries. His
I was
voice.
going to say, I think that's the Austin Aries.
And I feel like that was the end of it. Now you're stuck as one person, and then it was what's his name? That other guy that's been on AEW Dark. I can't think of his name right now. I'm sorry. That guy. Then there's been a few. But another thing that returned here that people liked was create a belt. Now, it's not something I ever really did often, but you can now also create tag belts in this game. And I know people like those because you go back to like the Fire Pro games and whatnot, and even the virtual pro wrestling. You win the belts, you can now defend them against your friends. So this was something cool that they implemented, which I thought was great. That it's just THQ and Ukes just bringing stuff that they've done to our games here. And I think that's awesome. Are you looking up the name? Because it's AJ Kirsch. It just hit my
I was just going to say, I was looking it up. I knew who you were thinking about, and I wanted to get his real name. I didn't want to say, because I always go immediately to it's the guy who won the Rock the promo, because he actually was like a fucking, like a real wrestler.
He's a comedian,
with amazing
too.
With amazing promo skills. And I was like, shit, what's his name?
Yeah. Another guest I'd love to have on here. I think I have sent a message and it's left unread, but whatever. Let's get into these match types, because there is a lot here. You wanna do the honors here and tell us the match types?
Yeah. So your match types for SmackDown vs. Raw 2006, you've got obviously the classics: single, tag, triple threat, fatal 4-way, handicap, Royal Rumble. But then you've got the main events, and that's where you get the real bread and butter of the fun match types: 3 stages of hell, backstage brawls, battle royal, bury alive match, Elimination Chamber, First Blood, Fulfill Your Fantasy, Hell in a Cell, Hardcore, Iron Man, Ladder, Slobber Knocker, Last Man Standing, Special Referee, Steel Cage, Submission Table, and everyone's favorite match, the TLC.
There's honestly nothing missing here. This is everything you want.
It's got everything.
Elimination Chamber was Here Comes the Pain. It debuted in games, I believe. It was not in any of the Day of Reckonings.
I think you're right. But this one, my only complaint about the Elimination Chamber, and I think this may even still hold up to today, the camera angle is always so far back, because obviously the big spectacle of the Elimination Chamber is the chamber itself, so they want to make sure that they get so much, or as much of it in frame as they can, but sometimes the camera just pulls so far back, and like the weird trippy strobe effects that happen, it's
innovative.
Very innovative
from the start. And I feel like now 3 stages later, you're getting it's almost perfect.
Yes, I think that the presentation nowadays for Elimination Chamber in video games is very, very accurate, and a lot of my gripes in this generation of it have been fixed.
Yeah, I think so. And I mean, they even changed the chamber in real life, and video games have now adapted it. And I think it's, other than this Hell in a Cell, it's probably my go-to. I wish you could just do a 1-on-1 in the chamber. But
my God, that'd be ridiculous.
That'd be cool. But it's time to read this roster. If you want to feel nostalgic, here we go. It's actually...
So what do you want? You want Raw or SmackDown?
You take Raw, I'll take SmackDown. You take Divas, I'll take Legends. How does that sound?
All right, sounds good. All right, so your Raw roster for SmackDown vs. Raw 2006 is The Big Show, Carlito, Chavo Guerrero. Is that going to be the new thing where I say the wrestlers and you do like a 2-second version of their intro?
You just get The Big Show.
Damn it. Chavo Guerrero, Chris Jericho, Chris Masters, Danny Basham, Edge, Eugene the Hurricane, John Cena, Kane, Kurt Angle, Rene Dupree, Ric Flair, Rob Van Dam, Robert Conway, Shawn Michaels, Shelton Benjamin, Snitsky, Tajiri, and Triple H.
And your SmackDown roster, you have Batista, Booker T, Charlie Haas, Chris Benoit, Christian, Doug Basham, Eddie Guerrero, Heidenreich, JB... I almost read it as JB Layfield, JBL, Daivari, Mark Jindrak, Muhammad Hassan, Orlando Jordan, Paul London, Randy Orton, Rey Mysterio, Scotty 2 Hotty, Spike Dudley, Steven Richards, Sylvain Grenier, or is he Sylvain, Undertaker, and William Regal. You know what I'm noticing here that's really stupid before you do the Divas? The Bashams got split up on Raw and SmackDown.
Yes, they did.
Oof.
It's the same thing that they did with Bubba and Devon.
That's like they're established people. That's like a suicide pass in hockey, putting the Bashams on separate brands. My God. Go ahead.
All right, your Divas. You've got Lita, Tori Wilson, and Trish Stratus on the Raw side. And you've got Christy Hemme, Joy Giovanni, Michelle McCool, and Stacy Keibler on SmackDown. John, what do we got for Legends?
It's a small Divas roster.
Yes,
for the Legends, you have Andre the Giant, Bret the Hitman Hart, the British Bulldog, Hulk Hogan 80s, Hollywood Hulk Hogan, current Hulk Hogan, Jake the Snake Roberts, Jimmy Hart, Junkyard Dog, Mankind, The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Ted DiBiase, and Miss Elizabeth. Now, Jake the Snake Roberts is actually exclusive to the PSP, and we're going to get to that later. Now, you have your typical arenas here, Raw, SmackDown. I always like that they included heat and velocity because I think it's pivotal to have those for the season mode alone.
Absolutely.
Yeah, to make it a little more authentic. You know, your guy starts in velocity and works his way up to SmackDown or whatever, vice versa. But then this list of pay-per-views. The Great American Bash 2004. When that came back, I was so excited. There was that Undertaker Buried Alive match where Paul Bearer got dumped in cement or whatever the hell that was. So bad, but so good. Vengeance, SummerSlam, Unforgiven, No Mercy, Taboo Tuesday. What a weird name for a pay-per-view, Taboo Tuesday. I like Cyber Sunday so much better. And it was on Tuesday.
Yeah, that's the worst part.
Yeah, I wonder why. Just because it matched the name? Survivor Series Armageddon, New Year's Revolution, which I think adapted the Elimination Chamber, the Royal Rumble, No Way Out, WrestleMania 21, which was the Hollywood one, Backlash, Judgment Day, WrestleMania 9. I remember playing that in the story mode, and I think my favorite one of all of them, ECW One Night Stand 2005.
Hell yes. And of course, just like any game in the early 2000s, you've got a soundtrack. Let's go through that right now. You've got Scream at Me by Billy Ray, Bang Bang by Bumpy Knuckles.
Bumpy Knuckles.
You've got You Don't Want War by Bumpy Knuckles, Pieces by Dark New Day, Unretrified by Dillinger Escape Plan, The Broken by Fireball Ministry, Symphony of Destruction by Megadeth, Waiting by Not Forgotten, Crush, Kill, Destroy by Poet, I Ain't Going Nowhere by Ron J, Start a War by Static X, and King of the Mat by Vada?
I think Vada. Now, I'm looking at screenshots of the ECW One Night Stand Arena. I think I loved it so much as a kid because it looked like the Hardcore Revolution setup, but I really wish it looked like Hammerstein Ballroom.
Oh,
that would have been incredible.
So awesome.
Just a place I've been so many times to watch wrestling, and it would have been cool.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever. I wish I saw an ECW show there, but just some TNA and Ring of Honor, of course. But regardless, let's talk about the cover of this game, because when you talk about iconic covers, now SmackDown versus Raw, the first game, had Vince McMahon with the split blue and orange with the SmackDown and Raw logos in his eyeballs. But now you're getting the two biggest stars at the time in 2005. John Cena representing Raw with that big chain gang logo medallion that spun. Remember that one? And you're getting Batista on the left in blue representing SmackDown. Now, when you think Eddie Guerrero, which this might be the last game he was in before, Rey Mysterio, JBL, what a time in wrestling. And it's all encapsulated in this game, which is so cool.
I mean, this is some of my favorite time in wrestling. Like this is just before, unfortunately, I kind of fall out of wrestling for a little bit.
I could probably say the same, yeah.
I always stayed up to date with the video games, and that was kind of how I was still involved and kind of kept my pulse on wrestling. But yeah, this is just what a game. What a game. And then consistently all throughout this entire series, they just keep getting better.
Now, what do you think of the back cover?
The back cover. Okay. So.
Whoa.
What?
Eddie Guerrero died the day before this game came out. Yikes.
Holy shit.
I never realized that. It's probably not a game I got at release. So it probably never clicked. Like, I probably wasn't waiting for it the next day. But, oh my God.
Wow. That's... Holy shit.
Huh. Anyway, sorry.
It's
back cover.
I mean, it's crazy to think how anytime that comes up, people immediately just, like, lose track of it. Like... It's been how many years, and still it always stops people in their tracks whenever you talk about it, because it's just still so unreal to think.
Yeah, it's like Brody. It hit the whole wrestling world.
Yeah, it's crazy. To this day, however many years later, it's still crazy. But yeah, getting back into the back cover here, the fight of your life. You've got some snippets, some screenshots of Batista, Rey Mysterio, You got John Cena. You got, I think that's Shelton Benjamin throwing Carlito off the top of the Hell in a Cell. And then you've got The Undertaker choke slamming someone into the casket. And, just a big block of text.
Yes. Very blocky.
That's my main concern is that it's a block of text. All of the photos are blocky, and we've talked about it, numerous times on this podcast that when things feel a little bit more free moving and less restrictive in terms of the shape of the containers of the screenshots, it always kind of livens up the back cover. But I mean, fair point to them though. It's a wrestling game. Like, there's no question about it. We say that all the time. Front cover, back cover. You know what it is.
I think this is when we're getting to the point where it's just a little ridiculous with the text, and there's no more, like, art to the back cover.
Yeah.
And I think you have all that space. Use it. Make it cool. Use, like, the books and crap on the inside for all that. But, hey, whatever.
Yeah, I'm sure that there's like a legal reason that they have to do it. And then, of course, the game disc is the same as the front cover. But now let's go into
I thought you were going to say, the GameSpy logo, powered by GameSpy.
Oh, yeah. Well,
can't forget about that.
Special place in my heart for GameSpy forever. But yeah, let's actually dive into the graphics of this game. I want to jump ahead a little bit right now to the locker room where you have your desk, because boy, oh boy, do I remember this, and all of the time that I spent for some reason loving just looking at all of these stupid little unlockable trophies that you could have for your desk. It was awesome. It was great, but like, it doesn't do anything for the game.
No, but I don't know. A lot of games have that now. You could buy like cars. Okay, this is a little different. Like right now in NHL, when you go and be a pro, you could buy like cars and bikes and stuff, or like a house, but they give you perks.
Oh.
So like if you buy the car, your speed goes up or something like that.
Okay.
I think.
I don't know how that translates, but sure.
What do you mean?
Like,
I'm saying if you win in this game, like if you get a trophy, it should do something for your character.
Oh yeah, no, but I was saying, like, how does you buying a car in NHL suddenly somehow make your guy skate
It's
faster?
a perk.
I know, but it's just funny that it's like, well, if you want to,
You're gonna question a game?
No, but it's like, everybody knows, kid, if you want to be better on the ice, you gotta buy a sports car.
Sure, George, sure.
It sounds like a line out of like a NFL Blitz or something.
Okay, you try to make sense of that, I guess. Okay, art style here of this game. It's on par with, I think, SmackDown versus Raw, but as we go on here, they are going to get better. They get better and better and better and better. You're still on the PS2, though, so you're somewhat limited, I guess you could say. I'll forever hate that. I think even till now, the belts never wrap around a person's body correctly, and they either stretch or they're being covered by a T-shirt or parts of it are cut off, and I just so fucking hate that. But
or they clip into people's bodies.
Yeah, I don't know. Something about it's just weird.
My biggest gripe with wrestling games for the longest time is T-shirts. I don't know why every T-shirt looks like a potato sack.
Because they stretch with the person. It's so weird.
It's crazy. Like it makes sense if it's like, John Cena wearing the football jersey. Like those are, like, if you just wear a football jersey, typically those are big because there's typically space for like all the pads and shit under it, and like it makes sense. Or just because John Cena wore fucking baggy clothes because that was part of his character then. But like,
damn, George is cursing a lot today.
Fuck. There you go. But yeah, it's always been something that has annoyed me in wrestling games, that shirts are just always like wearing a potato sack, or like every T-shirt looks like it's a dress or something.
This one's not much better, but I gotta give them big props here. The entrance stages and everything, the crowd, the arena, the way the ropes go opaque when you're looking through them, even the cell and all that. It's incredible. The way someone like Carlito, his hair should not look this good when in 2K20 they can't even give Becky Lynch proper hair.
Yes.
And he's holding an apple that looks like a pretty good apple.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
that's always something that this whole series of games really like succeeded in, is that the atmosphere in which you were having the matches, like you said, the arenas, the stage design, like it was all so like for the most part like picture perfect, and is a very important detail throughout the entire series, and they nailed it.
The attention to details.
Yes.
But overall, this game looks great. It's just the minor upgrades they made from SmackDown versus Raw, like the Hell in a Cell, the top of it. They kind of just gave a little more design to the steel cage and whatnot. We covered last week. They added like the platform top and all that. The way you drive a guy's skull through the announce table. Everything has impact. The finishing moves have like a nice cinematic, like,
that little slow-mo mode.
Which I always took
Matrix bullet time when you hit a pedigree.
Yeah, they just take away from the game, so I always turn them off. But to see them again after all these years, it's pretty cool. I gotta say, it's pretty cool.
It was really cool. But, you brought up Carlito's apple, and it reminded me of something that was in another game, and that is, did you know? Did you know WWE Smackdown vs. Raw 2006 features the video game debut of 20 superstars, as well as the returns of both Hulk Hogan and Stone Cold Steve Austin. Both men had been left out of the previous game.
Did you know a PSP version of SmackDown vs. Raw 2006 was released that featured mini-games and a roster exclusive?
Did you know SmackDown vs. Raw 2006 is currently on eBay for around $8 for just the disc, and only $30 sealed. $30.
Man, the PSP was so ahead of its time. You could go get internet on it. It was like one of those sidekicks, but cooler, the UMDs. Now, I had GTA for it, and there was a hack that you could switch your bullets in your gun to shoot the UMDs. And it was just like little disc cartridges. It was pretty cool. But this is the first SmackDown versus Raw or any game to be featured on the PSP. And like we said earlier, Jake the Snake was the exclusive legend that could only be played on this version. And I'm sorry, he could only be played in the PS2 version by connecting the PS2 to the PSP. So he's exclusive to the PSP, but you have to connect to play him. I never did that. I never connected my PS2 to the PSP. I never found a reason. No,
I had a Vita, and the Vita was big because you could just stream directly from your PS3, PS4 to the Vita. So that was like a whole big game changer.
My friend had a hack to that where he would walk away from it, like go on the train and keep the game on, and he would still be able to like play his NBA game on the train.
Oh, that's pretty sick.
Yeah. Now the mini games. Oh boy, the mini games, which there's some weird ones here.
One day we're gonna have to play them.
There's WWE Game Show, which is pretty much like a Jeopardy game with over 500 questions about costumes, music, finishers, all that, feuds, the history of wrestling, and nothing super crazy, but a kid could probably get them, but 500 of those. Other mini games are Eugene's airplane game, in which the player navigates Eugene around the ring in the fastest time, and a poker game. So it's ahead of AEW Blackjack Casino, whatever it's called, Double or Nothing Casino. The PSP version did get criticized, I think, mostly for the lengthy load times, but I think that was every single PSP game.
The PSP, I don't know. Like you said, it's ahead of its time. It was a great console. I
wish I still had it.
I think the UMDs were a deal breaker for people because I think a lot of people wanted it to just be, like, I don't know. I think they just wanted like GameCube sized discs, not like a whole like little cartridge thing that you had to.
They were smaller than a GameCube. They just had the plastic around them.
Yeah, I don't know. For some reason, I always feel like people complained about them.
They complain about everything. I didn't mind it. I loved it. I had so many games. I told you the story how I had my little Hulk Hogan backpack because I was in college and I thought that was cool to use my 80s Hogan backpack. And it's so thin, and the PSP was in there, And I said to my friend, hey, and I threw it at him, and it missed, and it hit like a bench. And I just heard, oh, my PSP is in there. Oh, crap. And I heard like a crack. Ooh. And the screen was busted. So me and my dad go on eBay. We find one. We buy it for like a couple bucks from like China. This thing is held together with Scotch tape. So it worked. But if you left it on and like it went in sleep mode, it would stop working. Like the screen just looked like it was like at 50%. So I think it was like a year or two later, I traded it into GameStop, 1-for-1 trade for a DS with like a game. They didn't even question it. They turned it on. It works, and that was it.
Damn.
So I guess I made out on that deal. I don't even have either of them now. So the DS.
Wow, that's a pretty good deal on your part,
right? Pretty
Johnny
good
Clash wheeling and dealing.
Yeah, and I was able to play my Pokemon Silver.
There you go.
All right, we talked a lot. I've seen you a lot this week. It's now time I need to relax as well for the ratings and reviews. Some R&R.
Would you like me to turn off my camera for this part?
No, it's okay. I'll just look away. Metacritic gives the PS2 version a 84 out of 100, with the PSP an 81 out of 100. Now, the publications. PS2, I'm just going to read the PS2 here because, let's be honest, the PSPs are hovering around 8 and 8.5. Yeah. Highest being an 8.9. But the PS2's EGM gives it a 7.17 out of 10. Eurogamer with a 7 out of 10. Famitsu with a 31 out of 40. Game Informer with an 8.75 out of 10. Game Pro with a 2.5 out of 5 stars. Go fuck yourself, Game Pro. Game Revolution with a B+. Game Spot with an 8.9 out of 10. Game Spy with a 4.5 out of 5 stars. That 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I don't know why that played a trick on me in my brain right there. Game Trailers with an 8.5 out of 10. I'm getting all choked up. Game Zone with a 9.3 out of 10. IGN with a 9.2 out of 10. OPM 3 out of 5. And the Detroit Free Press with a 4 out of 4. Now, when you look for a game review, first you go to IGN, then you go to GameSpy back then you're going to GameSpot, Game Pro, Game Informer. Some of these, I don't know. I don't know what they're playing. Now, the game was praised by most critics for depth of content, because there's a million different matches in here. There's GM mode, there's season mode, there's everything, and GM mode's only going to get better from here. IGN reviewer commented that there's no other wrestling game since No Mercy that offers this much replay, value, or depth. From the game's release up until December of 2006, the game sold 3.3 million copies. 2K20 barely broke a million. And on October 23rd, 2006, the game was added to Sony's Greatest Hits collection.
That IGN review is it. There's really not. Here comes for me. It's No Mercy. Here comes the pain, and then this.
Yeah, okay, I could agree. And if you want to know where they stand up against each other, go back and listen to Game Wars, because SmackDown vs. Raw 2006 was indeed in there.
Yes, it was. But, John, we have heard what everyone else has had to say. I kind of bamboozled you with a did you know, but I think you know what time it is now. It is now time to rate the games.
The game!
So do you want to rate both, or I don't know if you have experience with the PSP, because obviously today we only played the PS2.
I think that the PSP needs to be a separate playthrough.
Okay. Sounds good to me.
So we'll only rate the PSP version. And honestly, when we play the PSP version, I want to do one regular match and then just only play mini games.
Yeah, we could do that.
We can get everything we need to know from one Hell in the Cell, and then we'll just do everything else as the mini games.
I think that makes sense. All right, George Feis, will you play it forever or future endeavor?
It's play it forever. Easy play it forever.
Yeah.
Woo! I mean,
yeah.
It's one of my favorite games. Johnny Clash, will you?
Yeah, play it forever, yeah.
Yeah, we could have 3-2-1 this.
I'll go as far as saying I had the PSP version as well, and that was also a play it forever.
Woo! It's great. Yeah, everything about this game is fantastic. But, I mean...
He means... Now, I remember being on vacation, I think in like Florida with my family, and I brought it with me on the PSP. And I don't know why. I was like, who should I make? But there's sometimes in games you see like either one piece of something or one move of something, and you're like, I know who I'm going to make. And I ran through the whole story on that trip with a created wrestler, Billy Gunn, that had like no attributes. So even back then, I was a Billy Gunn fan.
You were an ass boy.
But all right, that's SmackDown versus Raw 2006. Are you ready to enter the soft lock?
Let's go. All right, so the soft lock is a weekly segment where a Patreon member gives us a topic to debate, discuss, and this week the topic comes from Jeremy Verrett. Jerm, what's going on? And Jeremy's question is, what is the best Halloween candy and the worst Halloween candy? A very timely question here.
Yeah, I figured we'd switch it up from a video game question this week. Talk about some candy, since Halloween was at the time of recording. Oh, today. Happy Halloween.
Yeah.
I'll start out by saying I don't care what anybody says. I fucks with candy corn.
Ooh.
Candy corn and the little pumpkins, but you could only have like 3, and then you're done.
I like Tootsie Rolls.
I have a newfound love for Tootsie Rolls.
I get a lot of shit because I've loved Tootsie Rolls ever since I was a kid. And
Tootsie Pops.
Tootsie Pops, even like the weird flavor, like the vanilla and the orange Tootsie Roll. Like I love all of them. There's just something about them that's good.
Yeah. Oh, the blue ones that were vanilla, those were awesome.
Yeah, but like a lot of people also don't know that the Tootsie Roll company also makes Dots. You know, like the gummy.
Yeah,
box
those
of gummy
could
Dots.
go in the garbage.
They also make Charleston Chew.
All right.
And I love all of those candies, and I think that that big bag that you can buy at like the dollar store. That's just all of it's like Dots, Charleston Chew,
the crappy stuff.
Yeah, I want that. Like that's what I buy, and I'm like, well, I know that no one's gonna want this, so I'm just gonna have a giant box of candy now all to myself.
I think Reese's are a given, at least for me. I know you can't have Reese's, and
the full size candy bars are like if you could find the houses that have full size candy bars, that's the way to go.
I'm talking about Reese's.
No, but like there are places that that will give out like the full size 2-pack of the Reese's cups, not the Halloween size.
Yeah. Oh, the Halloween ones are better though. The pumpkin shaped.
Oh no! See, I'm thinking of the little tiny ones.
Oh, fuck those. No, but I'm saying
the foil wrapped ones.
Can you have Reese's? Is what I'm asking. Oh,
yeah,
okay. Yeah. I didn't know if you could with the nut thing, but
we don't talk about that on here.
We just did. Sorry, I'm not Dylan. I can't get personal here. I think those are a given that everybody loves those. Almond Joy have become one of my favorites as well.
Ooh,
now
that's one I never got behind though. But a Mounds bar, there's something about like almonds in candy. I think it's too like it's like you're gonna make fun of this and make a joke.
There's 2 almonds.
I know, but it's like what's the other candy bar that has almonds in it?
I don't know.
The Snickers with almond.
I'm not a Snickers guy. I hate the way like my teeth just kill me after I eat them.
All right, top tier candy bar. What do you got? What's
candy
your number
bar?
One like a chocolate bar, just like a bar with chocolate.
I'm a big Hershey's cookies and cream guy.
All right, that's my number 2. My number 1 is the Milky Way Midnight.
Not a Milky Way guy either. I like
Caramel,
Twix,
nougat,
Kit
dark
Kat.
chocolate.
Yeah. I don't know. Good question though. Good question. A little change of pace from a video game question. Happy
What's
Halloween,
your worst,
everybody.
least favorite?
I like them all.
Circus Peanuts.
I don't even mind those. I like everything.
Fuck Circus Peanut.
I like everything. Jelly rings. Give me all of it.
Oh, jelly rings are good. What a cherry cordial.
Ooh, yeah. My grandma stocked up on those at one point in her life.
Circus Peanuts just are weird. Like they don't taste like anything to me.
You don't have to eat them. I don't know. Anyway, let us know your favorite
John will eat my
Halloween
Circus
candy.
Peanuts.
Don't ever say that again. It's time for some gaming news. All right, right, your gaming news. CD Projekt Red has announced the original Witcher game will be remade on the Unreal Engine 5. That's pretty cool. Discord voice chat is on its way to the PS5. We had it roll out on the Xbox a little earlier this year, and now the PS5 is going to be able to enjoy the simple life as well. Now, this one was pretty funny. A fake NBA 2K is on the Microsoft Store called MBasketball 23, and it looks like 2K because it has like a screenshot of a basketball player, like a licensed basketball player they probably got on like Getty Images or something with like the flames behind it. But then when you look at the screenshots of the game, it's on par with like Slime Volleyball and like those crappy games. And people are flipping out. There's like death threats in the comments like, I'll kill you, give me my money back. But hey, guys, be smarter. Someone made an indie game and they named it. And they did what they had to do to get money. So kudos to them. You're dumb for falling for it.
Oh, man.
Now,
great.
Hideo Kojima teases a new game and says, it's almost like a new medium. If this succeeds, it will turn things around, and not just in the game industry, but in the movie industry as well.
Maybe a movie game tie-in.
I don't know. I'm thinking bigger than that. There's got to be a CGI or something. I don't know. You don't watch House of the Dragon, right? You didn't finish it. You didn't even start it yet.
I didn't even start it yet. I'm still recovering from Game of Thrones.
Now, in the finale, I saw a video that they used the same technology that Star Wars used for The Mandalorian and Kenobi, with the big screen behind it. That was so cool. Just think how far we've come. We used to film a screen and it would like be glitchy and jump. Now screens are our green screens. Which takes out a lot of work for other people.
Oh yeah, and they're those screens and the technology that they're using there, like they're still able to like get elements in there. Like the one of the clips I saw was someone. I guess they were supposed to be riding something where in the rain,
a dragon,
and like they're essentially just like shooting this guy with a hose in front of this, however multi-million-dollar screen, and just
I guess you can't fake that, right?
You very clearly can see like the water is getting on the screen, but it's just like they even thought to waterproof the fucking thing. Like, oh my god, 1
pixel goes out.
I would imagine that it's probably
that'll cost you a couple million, right?
Yeah, but you know what? When you're working with that kind of budget, that's walking around money for these guys.
Yeah. True. But all right, games releasing this week. On the 31st, today, Insomnus for the Switch, Necro Boy Path to Devil Ship for the PC. On November 3rd, The Chant, Die by the Blade, The Entropy Center, From Space, Horsetails Emerald Valley Ranch. That sounds like a salad.
I was gonna say,
How to Say Goodbye.
Did you get your Emerald Valley Ranch packet?
King's Hunt, Outshine, WRC Generations, and on the 4th, Adama Noctis, Harvestella, and It Takes Two. Is that the Mary-Kate and Ashley It Takes Two?
No, it's like a co-op game. Actually, it's probably a game that you and I would have a lot of fun playing. It's like a co-op puzzle-solving game.
Oh, okay. I see. Yeah, this is not Mary-Kate and Ashley.
No, it's not. But I do appreciate the reference.
That's right. What have you been playing anything this week? What have you been doing?
So I'm getting ready for Call of Duty. So
Same.
hopped into Vanguard, played a couple of matches, immediately hated it, wondered why I hopped into Vanguard, and then just said, boy, I hope that Modern Warfare 2 is not like this. And then Overwatch 2, big fan of Overwatch, love and hate relationship for many, many years with that game. It's one of my favorite games because of the teamwork aspect of it, and it's also the reason that I hate that game is because it is so focused on the teamwork aspect that sometimes you don't have a great team.
I get it.
But yeah, it's awesome. What about you? You still in Sims mode over there?
Oh yeah, 100%.
No Power Wash Simulator? You're out?
I'm out. Yeah, it's got kind of repetitive and boring. No, Sims for sure. I finally finished my season in NHL 22. So as soon as I raised the cup and won all the trophies, I bought 23 and I started it again. Now, of course, I'm waiting for Call of Duty. I think I'm going to buy it on Xbox because I'm more likely to play like multiplayer and whatnot on the Xbox and just jump in, do the story mode. But I'll probably put Warzone 2.0 next month on the PC because
Well, hey,
it just makes
if
sense.
you pre-order Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 right now, you can. I
Comes
believe
out
you can
tomorrow.
Well,
I don't think I can pre-order.
Well, it's already out by the time we're recording
Yeah.
this. But if you pre-ordered it, you could have already been playing the campaign for a week.
That's all right. I take my time with that stuff anyway. I'll probably play it next year.
Have you played Last of Us yet?
I haven't finished it, but I've played it. Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know how far you got. I feel like
I
like
played
you would
for
update me
hours.
and be like, "This happened."
I would play for hours, and it's like you're on chapter 1. I'm like, what the
Yeah.
fuck?
I just remember you would be like, George, I just sat in front of my TV. My eyeballs are burning. I just played this game for 2 hours because I got lost in this one section and I couldn't figure out what I was supposed to do. I finally finished it, and it said that I had just gone for chapter 2. I'm 6 hours into this game. And I was like, yeah, that's The Last of Us 2, man.
That's the Last of Us 1 also.
Yep.
Oh, all right.
Guys, youtube.com/GameMarksPodcast for our weekly playthrough videos, exclusive content, and more, including this week's playthrough and every other week's playthrough. And of course, patreon.com/GameMarksPod. John, what do we got going on Patreon?
All right, Ed. Yeah, easy for me to say. Ad-free show every Friday with the show notes. You can submit your soft lock questions by Thursday afternoon, and we will read them on air. Now, next week, we are going to have Future Endeavored Legends of Wrestling 2. We'll see how that goes. We both Future Endeavored it the first time around.
Oh, boy.
And last week, we had Wild's World from the When We Were Young festival, and TK got a little wild.
I mean, what else could you expect? John, would you like to know what we are playing next week on the podcast?
Let me know, George.
We're going all the way back to the Super Nintendo because next week we are playing a game from Human Entertainment when we play Super Fire Pro Wrestling Special for the SNES.
Okay, another Fire Pro Wrestling. We're going way back, though, huh?
Going back.
I like it. Run
All
through
right.
those Fire Pros.
I mean, you think, but there's still so many left. GameMarksPod.com/shop for all of our exclusive merchandise. ProWrestlingTees.com/GameMarksPod for all of our new shirt designs. John just put up one that literally made me laugh out loud at my desk at work. Patreon.com/GameMarksPod for all of our exclusive content that you just heard John talk about. We got show notes, exclusive shows, and more at GameMarksPod on all forms of social media. And hey, make sure to follow us on Twitter so you know when that next figure giveaway is going up that Johnny Clash teased earlier on. And please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and leave us a 5-star rating and review on both Apple Podcast and Spotify. And of course, if you have a product or service that you'd like to advertise on this podcast, please reach out to us at GameMarksPod@gmail.com. John, I don't think that you and I have gotten tongue-tied this much in an episode in quite a while. I'm going to blame the frequency in which we've seen each other this week. So, with that being said, please do that thing that you do and get us the hell out of here.
Game over, Marks.
Game Marks Podcast, put them on the radar. Playing rare games, Sega Saturn, no Game Shark. Johnny and George work hard and they play hard. Future Endeavor games and put them in the graveyard. From the deep dive to the clash at the feast. How can I get more? That's question of the week. Follow on Twitch, there's nothing that they won't play. Game Marks Podcast every single Monday.